Way people approach this sometimes, I think it's missing the point. So it's too easy to get caught up in how we believe our nation is changing, because in the foxhole, all of those changes don't matter. Modern society had made us this weak batch of pansies. Why did I put this uniform on in the first place? Your actions will directly impact who they become in the future. The problem with today's military. Team, I want to talk about the problem with today's military. But to do so, I think I need to roll back the clock. You see, when I originally came in the service back in 1995, I went to my first duty assignment, Okinawa, Japan. And it was there that, all my senior leaders, they were all Vietnam vets, man. My first sergeants, my battalion commanders, my sergeant major, all of them. Even quite a few of my gunnies were in the NAM. And I remember one of them talking about and complaining during an inspection. They're complaining about the new Corps, about how weak we were, about how pathetic we were, about how modern society had made us this weak batch of drool, and we were going to get ourselves and everybody else around us killed. And I remember talking to my dad about it, and he's like, "Son, let me tell you a story. Back in 1966, when I was a Marine, my gunnies were all Korean War vets, and some of my senior NCOs and senior officers, they had served both in World War II and Korea. And they told us that the new Corps was a bunch of pansies." He said, back when your grandfather was in World War II, what is now known as the Greatest Generation, your grandfather told me that all of his seniors were complaining about the new Corps. He said this cycle never ends. It's always perpetuating. We're always looking down on the new generation. And I think the same can be said of outside of the military as well, right? People complain about kids in the 80s, the 90s, 2000s, the 2010s, now the 2020s, right? There's always something that is new that we're going to complain about. Now, I would be hesitant to say that there wasn't something different now than there was then. Certainly there is, right? Technology has changed, but has humanity really changed? Society may change, but does what make us an individual person, has that changed? Has the military changed? Yes, the military has changed. Going back from our inception, 1775 to now, the military has changed. How we train changes. What we teach changes. And so I don't want to discredit a lot of the changes that have happened over the years, because there has been some, and it would be foolish to say that nothing has changed. But the way people approach this sometimes, I think it's missing the point. Because in the foxhole, all of those changes don't matter. When you're doing PT, all of those changes don't matter. When you're in the chow hall, all of those changes don't matter. When you're out doing a field exercise, all those changes don't matter. When you're marching, when you're doing your maintenance, when you're at the range, none of those changes matter. So it's too easy to get caught up in how we believe our nation is changing, if it has changed, what changes have been made, and what changes need to be made. But the only thing that matters when you put your uniform on is taking care of yourself and those who are in your charge. Now, certainly, we sit through a lot more classes now than we have in the past. But 5 minutes after the class, you can't even remember what was in that training. And it doesn't matter anyways. Not saying that some of those training sessions aren't valuable information. I just think we get lost in the complaints, and I think that the reason why is because we've lost the why. Why do I serve the people of the United States? Why did I put this uniform on in the first place? Why do I want to be a part of something that is bigger than myself and to live and to serve selflessly? If we never really fine-tune that answer, if it really all comes down to selfishness, making more money, doing different things that ultimately have no reward on what makes me a person, to make me a better person, a better member of society, if we've lost that sense of why, then we're going to constantly be caught up with one distraction after another. Team, I know it can be a challenging thing, but whether or not you're a civilian thinking about coming into the service, whether you're in right now and you're maybe getting muddled around in all of the news and all of the things that everybody wants to take and talk about, and it's you're finding that it's shaping your perception and it is changing what you believe. I'm going to challenge you to pause for a few minutes and redefine your why. And know that what you do, it matters. It has an impact that far outreaches any political discourse or drama that might be happening in our world, in our nation, in our states, in our cities. What you do has value and meaning. Who you are has value and meaning. I think we need to reconnect, reground ourselves in this very thought. Because the truth is, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now, senior leaders are going to be complaining about the new Army, the new Corps, the new whatever. There's going to be something new that we're going to be making fun of. There's going to be something new that we're going to be complaining about. And that cycle is going to perpetuate. And the people who are serving then in the future, I don't care what training they have to go through. I don't care what changes have been made in society. Those people in the future, those dudes who are kindergartners right now, are going to enter the service to serve the people of the United States and to protect us. And I'm so thankful for them. And so we should think about that as well, right? Like right now in our formation, you have dozens of senior NCOs, first sergeants. People are going to become commissioned officers and company commanders. Right now, there's probably the next 5 sergeant majors of the Army. Next 5 sergeant majors of the Marine Corps. The next commandants, the next chief of staffs. They're all in our formations right now. Look around you. Some of the people that you see right now are going to be leading those efforts. And it is through what they are experiencing now that is going to help shape and fold what happens in the future. So if you're too concerned right now, especially if you are a senior NCO right now, maybe you're a platoon sergeant and you have a lieutenant, that PL one day is going to become a company commander. What kind of company commander do you want them to be in the future? Maybe you're a first sergeant and you have a company commander right now. Very well could become a battalion commander. What kind of battalion commander do you want them to become? Your actions will directly impact who they become in the future. And some of those officers are going to become general officers. And some of those senior NCOs are going to become their senior enlisted advisors. What kind of advice do you want them to give about the health of the force and the training that is needed. Don't lose sight of the value and the impact that you have, because it will far outreach your expectations. Team, just a few thoughts, as I think about where we are now, where we've come from, and where we're going to go. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your comments down below, man. You stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.